Best laid plans of mice and men. I should have realised. It's a bank holiday. It's Easter. I plan a trip out with my mate. He immediately cancels because it is absolutely, it's siling it down. So you've got to have a rethink. Gale force winds and driving rain does not make good videos. So, we live in the UK, and the UK weather is ever changeable. From that intro with the driving rain and the wind, here I am on Sunday morning, and it's a completely different world. We've got sunshine and blue skies, well, a bit cloudy, but blue skies, generally speaking. So, I finally managed to get into the garden and produce a bit of a vlog. Other problems that have come about is my car has developed a bit of a nasty knock. I think it's either a track hood end or a bush or something, but it being Easter, I can't get it fixed, so that's killed everything. So, I'm restricted to my garden. I hope you enjoy what I've managed to put together. Hi folks, today I'm sort of risking sounding a little bit like Blue Peter. You may remember in one of the previous vlogs when I was showing you all my bits of kit, I showed you this. It's just a storage box, but I put a tray into the top of it and it acts as a bit of a table. I have it sat inside the van when I'm sleeping, somewhere to put the book and the mobile phone and everything. And of course store all my gizmos and bits and bobs in here. The big problem is these things, you get them in the pound shops, etc. They're really cheap and nasty and shatter for fun. I managed to find on the internet these. These are made from recycled plastic. They're as tough as old boots, and they've got little notches cut out where they put cable ties to make them secure. So it says all about them. A nice piece of foam, a piece of wood. The wood sits into the top of the box. The foam goes over the top, and this is an offcut of vinyl. Lo and behold, a seating buffet, or somewhere to put your feet, and it's got all that storage space. I'm making 2 of these, and I'm going to revamp that old tray onto the top of one to make a nice little set. They go in the back of the van, you store all your gear, you can put them outside and you can sit on them if you wish. It's making as much use of the space you have. And here we have the final result. Not too shabby. A friend of mine is decorating up the sides on theirs, but to me this looks neat enough and tidy enough. Each one of them, ideal boxes for storing things away. This one with the tray on top. Yes, you can take the top away and use it as a tray or as a table. You can lift hot pans up off your stove and place them on the top, and as it's wood, it's not going to cause too much of a problem. Okay, it might burn a few rings in, but you can always give it a fresh coat of paint. Excuse the barking dogs in the distance, I can't do anything about that. Fresh piece of vinyl, and looks pretty good. You take the boxes. I always mark each box up so I know what's inside them, whether it's the cooking utensils or the food or laundry or whatever. You take the top off. This is my bowl, pop-out bowl from out of the van. This fits very neatly into the top of the box, and so there you have a nice little sink stand. I'm a gardener, I may have mentioned it before, have an allotment, and these things are called potato bags. You fill them full of soil and grow your spuds in them. Obviously I haven't used this one yet. It fits perfectly inside the box, so I can use it for throwing in my dirty laundry or for rubbish, etc. Pull it out, take it in easily without any problems. The other thing with these are, because they are so sturdy and so tough, you can line the outside of the box with insulated material. I think they call it Kingspan. It's silver on two sides and foam in the middle. Get the thin one, probably it's about 1 inch thick. Line the inside of the box. You can make a hot stew before you set off, or a hot meal in a sealed container. Pop it into your box. Likely as not, if you haven't travelled too far, it'll still be hot when you've finished your journey and you've pulled up, and it's there as a ready meal. You don't have to start cooking. On the other side of things, you can continue with the Kingspan, but you can fill it full of cold. You do get those cold trays, those blue pack things. They can be put inside there. Or even, if you remember the night before, get yourself a milk bottle, fill it almost to the top with water, because remember that water expands when it becomes ice. Stick them in there, put them in with your milk. They'll keep your milk nice and cool for at least a couple of days. So, a very useful addition. Dead simple. I will put information as to where you can get these tough boxes somewhere down below. I did promise in the previous vlog to come up with some solution to midges, and so this is it. There are many ways of keeping the dreaded midge at bay, and I have my sympathies for you people who live in Scotland, because it's absolutely terrible up there. However, I'm in Wales, we don't seem to have them as bad. That's not something for the Welsh Tourist Board. There are many things, lotions and potions you can apply. There's jungle formula. There are lots out there that contain citronella and DEET and things like that. I find these I tend to have to reapply about every 20 minutes because the effect wears off. This is not an advert, but by far the best I've found throughout the years has been something from Avon, so I suppose you'll have to contact an Avon rep. It's Avon Skin So Soft Forest Fresh, which is a bit oily, but it does leave my skin feeling so soft. But on the other hand, you apply it once and it seems to keep them at bay all night long. Alternatively, you can use these things. These are, this packet cost me £1, so there's nothing there. These are little candles like tea lights. You put them in a jam jar or in a suitable safe container if it's inside the van. Citronella, it seems to keep them at bay. You can also find them in buckets. The price has gone off of this one, but I don't think it was much more than £1 itself. You peel the top off, you can smell it, you light the candle, you leave it out there, and while you're having your picnic or just on the entrance to your van, it'll permeate, flow the smell around of the citronella and keep the midges at bay. I've had this little device for donkey's years, so I'm sorry I have no idea where I got it from, but likely as not you'll be able to find something similar on the internet. On the top is a solar panel, so you leave it out during the day and it charges up. There's 2 little batteries on the inside, which last forever. Inside it is a little plastic cage, and behind that is some wire mesh, and it's rather like the tennis rackets that you've seen out there for swatting flies, etc. You can either have it turned onto a normal light, which produces a sort of dull night light effect, or you turn it the other way and it produces an ultraviolet light, which attracts the flies and midges to it. They fly in, they touch the thing, they get zapped and they die, and you're not getting bitten. And it, all right, doesn't look too bad. Another simple idea for you to try. There are many of those cheap fly screen doors on the market. You know, the ones that close themselves by the use of magnets? I took a roll of that sticky back Velcro tape and secured the spiky side down behind the rubber rear door seal. After a bit of simple sewing and a dab or so of glue, and the other side of the Velcro tape was attached to a cut-down set of the fabric mesh doors, which, after a bit of trimming, and I'd managed to create a set of self-sealing midge-proof doors to the back of my car, which can be put up or taken down in less than a minute. It's a simple solution, easily done, that hopefully will reduce those pesky midnight bites. Right, so we're coming to the end of this week's vlog. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm sorry it wasn't exactly what we had planned, but we've done our best. The weather, incidentally, up here in North Wales has been horrendous. We've had driving rain and gale force winds. And then, as everybody's thinking about going home, everything clears up and it becomes nice and reasonably warm and sunny. Go figure. Anyhow, yes, I will mention you. People have asked. This gentleman's name is Chester. He's a miniature schnauzer and he's as good as gold majority of the time. Yeah, majority of the time. But he does have a bark that'll cut through steel. I also have another one called Harvey who's now getting on in years, and he's a standard schnauzer and he's as good as gold as well. So, yes. Yeah, I've said you're as good as gold. So, thank you all once again for watching. See you roughly in another week's time. And, yeah. See you soon. Bye for now.